players this, but last week you mentioned how by the time the buses got back to Hayes, the kids were pretty much done with that win and moved on to the next week. When do you expect these kids to move on from last Thursday's game for this one?
Hopefully today at practice. I hope today's practice, their mind focuses on this game and this game only. That game's over with. It's done. Yes, we need to make some corrections from that game as well. So hopefully, after we had film on Friday, they reflected a little bit this weekend on Saturday, Sunday. But after the reflection and seeing what they need to do better to make this team better, hopefully it starts today. Moving on to Northwest right away. So can't let that, pull you down and keep you depressed and all those things. It's just time to move on, to the next game and be better this next game.
As you look back and evaluate Saturday, obviously, or Thursday, I guess, great first half and show what the team's capable of against a top-tier team, and then second, not so much. You're able to kind of get a better feel for what happened in that second half compared to the first?
I think they just made more plays, than we did 88. Heck of a tight end. Made some tremendous catches, in that game. They were able to establish the run game. They were able to get some third downs, and some fourth down conversions that we couldn't stop defensively. And then their defense on its own, they didn't change hardly anything. And, we were on the plays that we did in the first half. They were just able to and we just weren't able to move the ball, consistently enough and make the completions that we needed to, consistently enough. And, had the one pick that kind of hurt us as well. And I think it's just some, mixture of those things that kind of go hand in hand. And, they're a championship team for a reason. We played very well with them in the first half, and the second half they came out and played even better than we did. So, we just got to step up to that level, and hopefully our kids recognize that as being a very young team. Recognize that it takes 4 quarters to be in a championship, game with a championship team like that. So, we just got to play better in the second half, and that's really all it all comes down to is they played better than we did in the second half.
It almost in ways feels like in the years leading up to when Fort Hays State won the conference titles, in that, learning to put 4 quarters together, closer but not quite there. It kind of has that feel to those times.
It does, and I think it just goes down to youth, right? When you're as young as we are, across the board, you look at our offensive line. We have some older receivers, but they're really new to our program. You look at our defense; we're fairly young across the board as well, and it's just, getting those young kids to understand that it takes 4 quarters, to win these football games, and the stress and the demand and the physicality, that it takes to play for 4 quarters like that is hard. And I think we'll get there. And I think this last week helped us learn that, especially some of these young guys learning, what it absolutely takes to play that type of level. And it's commitment, it's will, it's heart, it's passion. If you got those things and you play with those type of things, for 4 quarters, you have a great chance to win.
Evaluate the running game, and what has to happen for it to get a little bit better, maybe more consistent?
I think just, across the board blocks, here and there, we kind of came off a little bit too early sometimes, where we missed one, or sometimes we missed a hole. And it's just, having couple of new running backs, at that position, and couple of new guys across the board on the offensive line. It just takes time to gel and to really kind of get that feel and that read, of where it's going to hit as a tailback and as an O-lineman, of when you need to come off that block versus when you need to stay on it. And with the slants and the twists and all those different things that teams are doing now, and at different fronts that Pitt were giving us with the 5-man front, 1 linebacker, 5-man front with 2 linebackers, 4-man front with guys coming everywhere and twisting and blitzing. It takes a lot of communication, and it's hard to teach those things in a week's time, but as they get older and they mature, those things just kind of become natural to them, and they get used to those things. And I think just our youth, right now kind of hurts in that game because we weren't expecting so much movement that we got from them, and the type of blitzing that they were doing, which we've seen on film, but until you actually see it in person, full speed, not against scouts, it takes a while to adjust to it. But, I think we can get it going. It's just a matter of time, and then I think when it clicks, it's going to truly click.
On Thursday, first downs were tough for your team, averaged like 2.1 yards per play. Kind of a 2-part question. Number one, what has to be done in order to get maybe a few more yards to make second down more manageable? But when you get into those long second downs, does that then limit the playbook because you need to get a chunk for third down if it's going to be there?
You do. I mean, it really does. I mean, the first down is the most important. You know, we're trying to get 3 to 4 yards on first down, and when you don't get those, and now it's 2nd and 8, and now you're going to try to make it, 3rd and 3 and 3rd and 4. Now you're trying to get, a little bit bigger chunk. It makes it a little bit tougher, what you have in your playbook, but there's still plays for it. I still think there were some things there that we just didn't see. And, we got to get better at those things. And, again, I hate blaming it on youth, but sometimes youth, it takes a while for those things to click and those things to, be able to see those things as fast as we need to. And but we'll get it done. I mean, we just need to do better on first down. I mean, 2 yards on first down is not good enough for us, and it's not good enough for this team. And I think our kids expect more out of themselves as well. So, again, it's just solidifying those blocks. Making those short passes and getting those short catches. We dropped a few easy ones, which makes it on first down, which makes it, 2nd 5 or even 2nd 3, and now maybe you can take some shots here and there to try to loosen them up a little bit. But we never really put ourselves in position to be able to take those shots downfield when we need to, just to loosen them up.
Kind of mentioned trouble on sometimes 3rd down and 4th down Thursday. Is that as much as an attitude to get off the field as technique and just execution, or a little bit of both?
You watch and go back and see it. It's just a few little plays here and there. A guy misses a tackle, or guy falls down, and it's just little things. You're like, God, we're there to make the play. We just didn't make the play. And I think it's that first 4th and 9 that really kind of put it all together. We missed that. We get a stop there. I mean, we're still up. We go down and possibly score, kick a field goal. That might be a totally different ball game. But they get that 4th down and they go ahead and convert and score. And I just kind of, I think at that point our kids are just kind of shocked a little bit. Like, okay, we were there. We're here. You're still there. You're down 1 score. All right. Nothing's really changed. All we got to go down and do is score again, and this game's okay. But we just got to find a way to get off the field. I mean, that just comes down to attitude and, making the play when your name is called. And, they did some good things, but I still feel like we had guys in position to make those plays. We just didn't make them.
A lot of talk from the players that we interviewed about turning the first 2 quarters into 4 quarters like that. That's a really easy statement to make, but what actually has to happen during this week of practice for that to happen on Saturday?
It's how you practice. Right, if you start off practice really well, and as the practice goes on, you kind of slack off a little bit and not use your fundamentals and techniques, or you don't go hard every single thing that we do, that's going to directly affect how you play, on Saturday. So it's how they practice this week. They need to go out there with the purpose of, whether it's individual, whether it's special teams, whether it's, one-on-one, 7-on-7, team sessions, whatever it might be. We all need to have a purpose for each one of those sessions that we're doing, and a purpose to get better. If they do that, I think those things will change. But if we don't have a purpose of why we're doing these things, then we might have the same results. So, that's going to be our focus as coaches this week, of trying to keep that intensity up all the way through practice, and making sure they're hustling and doing the things we need to through practice. Not that they haven't, but let's just amp it up just a little bit more. If we can do those things, then I think we'll be okay. But it's all about that purpose and having that mentality in practice to do things great. Because sometimes things just get monotonous when you go through individuals and it's the same drills, and you change them up, the drills here and there, but how are you doing those drills? I mean, are you trying to be perfect and be great, or are you just kind of going through the motions? So hopefully this week they don't want to go through the motions, and there's a purpose for every drill that they're doing and every play that they're on the field doing.
Northwest Missouri State, obviously difficult game for them on Thursday night. Just your impressions of them and challenges they're going to bring on Saturday.
I still think they're big up front on both sides of the ball. I think they're very athletic defensively. They still don't give you anything. It's just somehow Emporia found a few ways to do it with, a pick 6 and things, and some turnovers, which limited, Northwest's ability to score points. But they are big and strong up front, on the offensive and defensive lines, and they're very athletic defensively. I think their D-line are very skilled, and they got some good power and good speed. They do a great job of, of getting their hands on receivers as well. They mix their coverages up here and there, but they do get the ball very quick, and they don't give you a lot of room to run. And hopefully there's something on offense that we can find to loosen them up a little bit and give us a chance to establish our run game. And then offensively, I mean, they just give you a bunch of different looks, 10 personnel, 11 personnel, 12 personnel, a lot of different motions, quarterback counters, running back counters, I mean, all kinds of running back zone, quarterback zone, play action off those things, and, quick hitters, and then they'll try to get you on a deep one, to just try to put you to sleep, with the short stuff, and then hit you deep. But they're a darn good football team, and I'm sure they want to come in here and get this win, and we just got to have a great week of practice, and we've got to truly prepare, and watch tons of film just to kind of see what they're doing to us, because there are some things that give you fits, offensively and defensively, and they're also very good on special teams, which they are every year as well. But they're a good football team. They're just trying to put things together right now because there's probably a lot of new faces on their team as well. But it's still the same Northwest that I've seen in the past.
Once he goes down and play most of that game, how does that affect your preparation? Not maybe knowing who's going to be the quarterback, or does it affect you?
You still got to prepare for him, right? Because you just don't know how quick the rehab's going to be, or if he's going to be there or not. I think the game plan is probably going to be the same. Try to run the quarterback some, try to use the play actions, try to run the screen game as well, and so you got to prepare like it's going to be him, and probably prepare for the run a little bit more as well with the power game of the run, just because of what Pitt did to us, last week. So we just got to be tough up front on both sides of the ball and be prepared. But I don't know with the quarterback. You just don't know. I mean, the other kid came in, did a great job. I thought he just got a little happy-footed at one times and just kind of threw a few balls away. But those guys always struggle the first week where they're thrown in there, but then the week 2 they're usually pretty darn good. So he does throw a good ball, and I think he'll settle down and be just fine.
I can't believe I'm about to say this, but you're catching Northwest Missouri State after a loss. That doesn't happen very often, and just, I don't know, maybe the thought of trying to give them a second consecutive loss is kind of wild.
It would be nice, it really would. But I know Coach Wright very well. We're very good friends, and I know he'll have his guys ready to play this game. So I have to make sure I do the same thing and make sure I have my guys ready to play this game. But, he's a great friend of mine and always will be, except for this Saturday. Or this entire week probably, but we're pretty close. But he'll have them ready. He'll have them amped up, and I'm sure they don't want a second loss, and neither do we. So we got to do everything possible as players and coaches to make sure that we can go out there and find a way to get this W.
Do you talk to him much during the week, during the course of a regular season, and will you talk to him much this week?
We usually talk once a week, except for the week when we actually do play each other. So. It's just one of those things. It's crazy how that works. As we talked all through fall camp a couple times, and then and after the first week we talked, after the second week we talked, and then all communication has now ended. So I'm sure we'll talk before the game like we always do, and then we'll talk a little bit after as well, and then we'll get back to our normal routine of talking to one another. But just a great guy, a good friend of mine, and we have a great relationship.
This game seems to, at least to me, weigh very heavily because of what this season could be for both Fort Hays State and Northwest Missouri State. With the way the conference is shaping up already, with only 2 teams that don't have a loss, both of you still have Central Missouri on the schedule. They're the other 2-0 team. Neither team wants to back-to-back losses as early in the season. This game seems to be just bigger than normal.
It's a big one. I mean, it really is. But there's still, a lot of games left after this, and the way this conference is going right now, who knows how this conference is really going to shake up with, with things happening, and injuries play a part in a lot of these things as well, and we just can't let the moment get too big for us. It's these kids have been playing football since they were little, and you just can't let this moment get too big. And sometimes when they let the moment get too big in front of them, they do things that they're not supposed to, and they don't perform to the level that they're supposed to. So let's just go play football. Let's have some fun. Let's enjoy ourselves. Smile, go make some plays, have some excitement. Understand that there's going to be adversity that hits, and that's almost in every game. There is adversity. It's how we handle that adversity as a team. And, it's not as an individual. I mean, this is a team sport, and everybody's got to do their part and do their job. And but again, we just can't let the moment get too big. Yes, it's a big game, all right, and a lot rides on this game as well. But there's still a lot of season left after this, and just like Pitt beat us last week, we can't worry about that game. It's a one game. There's still a lot of season left, and even after this one, there's still a lot of season left because we still got 8 more after this one. and that's still a lot of football. So just got to get better each week and focus on this week, and that's all we can worry about. But it is a big game, but just don't let the moment get too big for you.